Our next guest wrote a very special introduction that I promised him I'd give, so please bear with me. He's actually a personal hero of mine also, so I'm actually going to read this because he gave this to me. I'll tell you honestly. We were talking and we kind of developed, I guess, a message, and it was written down. I have day-old notes here in front of me. So there's a difference between simulation and the real world. One is make-believe. The other is tested and battle-proven. The next speaker is a true warrior who's been encouraging veterans and others for the past 30 years to give just a measure of themselves. And he is an inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Wieland.
One person that has a belief stronger than 99 other people who only have an interest. There's no one that I know that's got more of a belief in serving and helping veterans than my longtime partner, Shad B. Shea. We've been tight for about 30 years. In fact, we're so tight a lot of times, Shad be telling people I'm his half-brother. You want me to repeat that one? But you know, I know a little statement. It goes like this: let him that shall be the greatest amongst you, let him be a servant. And as long as I've known Shad B. Shad, a little over 30 years, gives me goosebumps. You see that? Goosebumps. Because all I've ever seen the man do is serve. Help others. Go the extra mile. He's personally helped me. You might laugh at this, but this is a true story. The United States government took approximately 7.5 years to determine that I didn't have any legs. Honest to God, if I'm lying, I'm frying. Superman ain't flying and Popeye's a frog. But 7.5 years, we couldn't get the case resolved. We got the x-rays. Well, it looks like you don't have legs. I told Shad about it. Listen, within a week, I'll say it one more time, within 1 week, because of Shad's influence, his contacts, his personal relationships with the media, my case was resolved, and I got every righteous penny that I deserved, going all the way back to 1969. So anytime I can team up with Shad, not only Shad, but the foundation. Michael, Tyrone, Chris, Eric, some of the other fellows, they're there 24/7 if you need them. And you know, the best lesson I've learned from these guys, and they tell it to me every time, and we kind of share it back and forth, it's a simple statement about veterans. Always remember, it's too soon to quit. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a special audience. I salute you. Thank you very much.
Bob Wieland, ladies and gentlemen. It's an inspiration. Before I forget, I'd also like to say a very special word about the gentleman in the corduroy jacket who just sat down. You might notice these lights up here. There's an unbelievable new product that's been developed by one of our board members, Rick Seaman. It's called Veterans Network. What a unique and innovative idea. The idea that veterans from around the country can go to a single website to see news, for them, about them, and with them from their perspective. And I think Rick deserves a round of applause for that. Thanks for what you do, sir. Next is kind of a very special surprise. As most of you know, and I'll give you just a couple of the quick highlights, there's a lot of it in your program. Shad's been serving veterans for over 35 years. Vietnam veteran, combat medical officer, co-author and founder of the Vietnam Veterans Readjustment Counseling Program, otherwise known as the Vet Center Program, still alive today, 206 centers around the country. I think I mentioned earlier, native of Alabama, the finest speaking voice I've ever heard personally. Author of the critically acclaimed Captain Four Dark Mornings, which you'll learn more about. It started it all. A great friend and a hero to veterans around the country. Next gentleman I'd like to bring up knows a little something about service, more than a little something about service, for a very special presentation by Tad Foster. Tad met Shad in 1979 at the first National Symposium on Vietnam Veterans Affairs. United States Marine Corps, 1968 to 1969. He's an artist and a writer, and a good one, I might add. He wrote, and I have to get this title, and I apologize. He wrote the Vietnam Funny Book, An Antidote to Insanity, which might be one of the best book titles I've ever heard, Tad, and I really, really mean that. Tad, will you please come on up on stage, please? Everybody, please give Tad a very warm round of applause.
Thank you. I was invited to the celebration of the National Veterans Foundation. Right now I'm going to celebrate it by telling you a story. Shad, you deserve my best. I'm going to give you my best shot here. 1969, I got my draft notice. I was an artist as a child. I decided I'd be a combat artist. So the Marine Corps said, sure, kid, sign right here. So that's what I did. I pretty much sealed my fate because I fired expert on the rifle range. So that was, I didn't realize, but that was the dumbest thing I ever did. But anyway. So a number of months later, I was in a unit called CAP, 4th Combined Action Group, a Special Operations Unit. It's used extensively in Iraq now. It was experimental at the time. We lived with the people in the village. We operated at night. Psychological warfare NCO. And about 8 months in country, I decided to start drawing. I drew cartoons. But on a couple of occasions, I drew serious pictures. We moved every night at dusk to prevent our getting caught by the bad guys. And one night we moved next to a village hut, and I went in this hut and had a rickety old bench and a table on a dirt floor, and I did a drawing that was, I believe, was the soul of my brothers in arms. It was a grunt who was part of the dirt. And anyway, I have that drawing here. I did a few, but this one survived. And it's a little torn up, it's a little beat up, but it's the real McCoy. You earned this one, Shad. I brought something else, too. I brought this to inspire the members of the National Veterans Foundation because they got a tough job ahead, and we all know why. But that wasn't good enough because they also need to raise money. So I had a limited edition printed of this original drawing. And there's the clay prints. They're signed and numbered. There's only 30 in the edition, so it's a small number. I have brought number 130 through 2030 to represent the 20 years of the National Veterans Foundation, and is my tribute to you, Shad, and to this organization. I would like to close here by reading the inscription on the bottom of the drawing. This was a piece of combat art. I moonlighted. I drew that drawing after we set up one evening in that village hut, and I went on an ambush later that night. So this is what I wrote. Drawn in Nam Bien Village, Quang Tri Province, South Vietnam, winter of 1969. Shad, for the tireless efforts by you and the National Veterans Foundation, on behalf of those brave and loyal who have answered our country's call. Semper Fidelis, Tab. Thank you very much.
Wow, it's supposed to be fun tonight. I mean, we're going to get there. It's really an honor to be standing here after so many years. There are so many heroes that I know personally. Joe, you're sitting next to one and they just go throughout this whole room. You've had some introduced. And I don't know how to put my arms around it. I'm going to try to just say a few things before we roll into a chance for you to peek. Most people see me as a character, which we all are, and that's probably why I've survived. You know, it's got me through Vietnam. You know, that mass humor, which many of you have read my book, but you really can't know it until you're in it. But the humor and the energy that I got from my parents has driven me, and I don't know how I ended up here. I'm just happy to be here tonight. We're really here, and I want to start off in memory. I just have to say a few names, and unfortunately I can't say 200 of the names I'd like to say tonight, but in memory, first of all, we're here because of Keith Knudsen, the drummer of the Doobies, and you will see him interwoven into our 20-year history. His wife, Kate Knudsen, is here, and I lost her. She's got the same kind of blood as me. She'll be up with me after the film because I'm able to hold her up. Kate, thank you. Kate came all the way from Asia. She's an artist too. She came all the way from Asia to be here. She works with an international design company, and it's kept her busy in the year and a half that we've lost Keith. But she's phenomenal, and you'll be up here to hold me up after this. Also, my dear friend that I grew up with and played ball and reacquainted with in memory of him, Ernie Muro. His wife is here too, Jean Muro. She would just sit here and know that I can't see, and I'm kind of blurry-eyed right now. I'm kind of blind anyway. Thank God my eyes. I love you, Jean. Ernie's here tonight, so is Keith. And for some of the old guys that worked in the program, I'm going to throw another name because we've lost a lot of our guys, but I'm going to say Jack McCloskey. And I know that'll get a rise out of Charles and Bill and so on. And he's been gone over 10 and a half years, but he was a wild and crazy Marine cowboy that rode with us a while till he rode himself to death almost. And I want to salute today people that have come all the way here to be here. Some are legends in the industry. One, Charles Figley. For me, the doctor and one of my dearest friends in PTSD, which many of us has really been our history, and he's really the one that went point on it. And I'd like Charles to just raise his hand. Dr. Figley. And the Right Reverend Bill Mahidi, who co-authored the Vet Center program and came here. He's been retired for a few years, but he is legendary and has written probably the most important book, the Out of the Night, the Spiritual Journey of Vietnam Vets. And most Vietnam vets, particularly combat vets, have read it, and he came all the way up to be with us from San Diego. Bill Mahidi. My brother, meanwhile, he's been all over the world, including Russia. Bob Wieland, that was out here in the wheelchair. Bob and I go back over 30 years, lost his leg, stepped on a major bomb that blew his legs off. I just want you to know, for those, he walked across America to dedicate attention to the Vietnam vets back in the early 80s. It took him 3.5 years to walk on his hands across America from LA to the Vietnam Vet Memorial. And I was there when he started, and I was there when he crossed the line 3.5 years later at the wall. That's the kind of man he is. I don't know where he came from. He's off the charts. Believe me, he's off the charts. Tad Foster, who just gave me his most prized possession. I can't even speak about it, but Tad had a big decision 20 years ago. He was shot up pretty bad, and he had several bullets left in him. He didn't tell about that. And I remember one night making a decision that it would probably be best if he left it in there. He wouldn't have been here tonight. About 20 years ago, he flipped the coin and had the operation. It was near his heart and had it removed, and he's here tonight. That's just a tiny piece of sad history outside of his joy and his talent. For those of you, one of the real pioneers and one of the founding members, the only one here with me tonight, is Frank Walker. And Frank Walker is in a walker, believe it or not, and has survived death about 8 times, not counting Vietnam twice. Marine Frank Walker over here, founding board member. You'll see him in the film tonight. Bob Franco, who's not here tonight, but Bob, who ran with me for 25 years from Vietnam on, his sister Lenore, brother-in-law, and other friends. Bob, you're here in spirit. I had to say that about my dear friend L.T. Franco. Somebody I love and worship, Colonel Joe Smith. He's out there. He's been a wounded soldier the last year. He's coming back. And he's just one of the great leaders in our community, and the Marine, and just there's not enough words. Most of you know who he is. My dear closest friend in the last 8 years that has played a major role in keeping the foundation going through his efforts in the endowment, Joe Barbrick, who is somewhere out there. I wish he'd stand up. He's a short guy, but he's powerful. If you think I've got energy, you just need to hang with me today. Bernie Goodvie, who right after the founding board came on the board, and Bernie, Vietnam vet, and handles all the resources and money of the foundation. Can't tell you how Bernie has been there from pretty much day one, because I met him through the Doobie Brothers after you see the film, and he was sort of the money manager of the original event in '87 at the Hollywood Bowl. And Bernie is just the bear. He is the best. And his wife Donna, where are they? Bernie. Someone that I would give my life for, almost did, unfortunately, 20-something years ago, but who's become a legend. And many years ago, almost 10 years ago, Dateline did a story on our relationship. But if you've ever met John Keaveney, you'll never forget him. And if you haven't met him, make sure before you leave tonight you meet John Keaveney. He what a journey. But trading off not going to prison for life and starting New Directions, which is a program that died in the VA that he gave new life. And half of my guys are from his program that I hire. One of the most decorated two-tour combat vets and the funniest man in the world, believe it or not, John Kevney. Where are you? Where is he? Somebody find that little Irish, Scotch Irishman. He's probably right there, right. He's gonna call me blind because I have to acknowledge my eye doctors here tonight, trying to save my vision. Also, a part of this film and a part of my heart is someone that just came into my life through John Kevney. It's funny, and a story very similar to John. At least he didn't try to take my life, but John asked me, and we went and fought to get him a chance to make it in society. One of the most decorated combat new vets, both Afghanistan and Iraq. Chad Ryber, who you'll see in the film. Chad, where are you? Stand tall. Show me those biceps. Jim Joyer, Vietnam Era veteran, has been woven through my life the last 15, 16 years, and he's a spiritual person. He's Buddhist. His wife, Nancy, is unbelievable, and he's come in and out whenever we need him. I want to now acknowledge Jim. Jim, I know you're out there, you're late all the time. We had I had a lot of surprises tonight, but the big one was the fact that one of the most renowned psychiatrists that's really joined forces with us guys and has written some of the most profound books like Achilles in Vietnam, Dr. Jonathan Shea, who is just one of our allies and tells the government what it's like with these guys are working. Jonathan, we love you. I remember he sent me years ago, he met me at this trauma organization, and he's probably here in town for International Society for Traumatic Stress, and he came up to me and he knew my reputation at the Vet Center and handed me this manuscript, you know. I'm sure Joe gets them handed all the time. Read this script. Well, he had this script that he sent me on the book. I remember it for my feedback, and it was like, whoa, where is this man from? It was awesome. And he's written several other books since then, but it was profound. Congressman Dick Floyd. For those of you who remember Crazy Dick, he was controversial, but I loved his controversy, and he was definitely pro-vet, and he was a Korean vet. He's here tonight. Dick, can you wave a stick or something at him? Where are you? He's got a cane now, but where is he? He's right in front of us. Close. Thank you. And I could go on and on. My board was up here. Andrew Mattias, who's a part of the board for some reason, he's been a ghost lately. He's traveling around the world, but he showed up. And there's a host of new friends tonight, and I want to tell you that I'm just elated that you're here. I hope what you see now, this journey, will kind of give you an inside picture of my journey, the Foundation's journey, and where we're trying to go. And I can't tell you how important, it takes a village, Joe. And if these folks out here don't support us, I don't know who is, because you're here tonight, and it's as much as it's in the newspaper about soldiers or whatever, they do become veterans, and we've got a room full of them tonight. So with that, let's roll.